What is up, guys? Welcome to week 10 of the All In podcast with Bad Beat Bryce and Ryan the Rock. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Bryce?
Doing pretty good. Had a bit of a headache, but it's been a pretty good poker week, so can't be too upset.
Yeah. It's been I gifted you some money. We'll be going over that a little bit. No, I didn't give. I gifted it. I'm gonna take it back later this evening. It was a loan. I'm gonna take it back with some interest.
We'll see about
but we'll cover that hand a little later. Man.
It's been really going on in the poker world.
What has been going on in the poker world? How the poker world missed this, I kind of understand, because there's more important things going on in the world right now. But in poker news, Mike Postle's case, for those of you who don't know who Mike Postle is, he is the dirtbag who went onto Stones Live, which is a casino. I'm actually not sure where Stones is. It's in LA. It's on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
And he was on this live stream, and he was accused of having somebody relay the hands to him through the stream that was going on.
When we say accused,
there's a lot of video evidence, and believe me,
evidence. He streamed about it for probably 30 hours of content.
More, yeah. He literally went for a whole week and just watched every single hand that they played at Stones. It was insane, and streamed the whole entire thing. It was absolutely insane. So you can watch. He is 100% cheating. But his case, which, of course, all of the people, 88 plaintiffs in this case, filed against him. That's how many people he cheated out of money. He won $250,000 in the process, but his case was thrown out by the federal court judges in California. Everyone's like, why? Well, as it stands, unfortunately, the law is not exactly on their side. Quoting the judge in the case, he said, unlike damages stemming from the rake, these damages are quintessential gambling losses that are barred for recovery by California public policy. I don't really like that, because he says these are quintessential gambling losses, and they are absolutely not.
This is theft.
That is fraud and theft. And I mean, he stood accused. The lawyers came after him. Oh, where's the list?
Did you hear about how he didn't show up for his first court date or whatever?
Oh, of course he didn't. House and all that? Yeah. Well, let's list the charges that they laid against him. They tried to charge him under the RICO Act violations. They attempted negligent misrepresentation, negligence per se, unjust enrichment, constructive fraud, and libel.
I thought that you also structuring. So basically, he was avoiding paying taxes. I'm not sure if it was in the bank by having Smurfs deposit small deposits.
No, they said that he was using casino runners.
He was using casino runners for chips, because if you cash out over a certain amount, they'll give you a tax form for it. So he basically was trying to avoid that. So not only did he cheat people out of the money, but he cheated the government out of their money. And it's not like he was making $300, $400 reporting. He was making hundreds of thousands and just completely.
And not only that, but I mean, this suit is for $10 million. Not only that, but Mike Postle is the fraud in the greatest sense of the word. He has written books. The Power of Postle Thinking is a book that is sold.
People thought he was a god. They were worshiping. How is he making? It's not like he was making plays.
For months, people showed up.
I've been playing poker for over a decade. I just can soul read people. I'll raise with 7-4 off and get this dude
5-4 off
queen,
shoves into
6-bet pot. Get out of here.
Yeah. It's just craziness, because you watch a couple that's the problem, is it's not like this was an insignificant pot like this game. Chris Moneymaker played there. Who's the guy who runs Crush Life Poker? Why Crush Life Poker?
Bart Hansen.
Bart Hansen, thank you. Good Lord. Bart Hansen's played on there against him.
Taylor Carroll had a hand against him, and he called down with third pair and a huge pot, and Postle was pissed. And I think he said how'd you call me with that? And he hadn't seen his hand. It's something.
Yes, right. They discussed it because he hadn't turned the hand over, and Postle was going like this already, and then when he turned the hand over, he's like, "How'd you call me with that?" And it's oh, come on, man, come on. The jig is up. Unbelievable. But
that's ridiculous. The fact he hasn't gotten completely screwed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's barred from any poker room in the country. I sure hope so.
He'll get his ass kicked.
Yeah. I don't think he could walk into any poker room in the country. It's just gross what he did. And it's amazing that we have it entirely documented from 25 different angles. And you can see it.
And
in every way.
People were like, oh, there's not enough evidence. Just because he's won 90% of his sessions, that's not abnormal. Like, if you look at one that specific hand breakdowns, like, okay, even if we want to say he's a luck box, like, no, like, there's
just no way
he takes these lines. Like, no sicko takes the lines this many times and is right. Like, he just always knew when his opponent didn't have it. And it's because he had someone in the booth collaborating with him. And
yeah. Oh my God. And the booth got RFID wrong. RFID wrong a couple of times. RFID does not misread cards, by the way. And that's just not how that would work.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So the other piece of poker news that we want to go over is, I don't know if you guys saw Daniel Negreanu's recent post, but he's looking thin is best way to put it.
He's looking good. Okay.
Oh my gosh. What is
oh wow, that's spamming. But okay, here's what we're saying. By the way, his wife posted a much better Instagram story of them chilling like poolside. He's got a 6-pack. I mean, granted, Daniel Negreanu's like late 40s. I think he's not 50. So he's not,
He looks scary.
But he looks good. Like, he does look scary.
You think he looks good? I think he looks too skinny.
But that's the thing is, if you go, that's the problem is, this is a horrible picture, by the way. I think this is a horrible picture.
He looks like a skeleton. Like, his veins are looking good, and, like, I'm sure he's got a 6-pack. And
it's because we're so used to the thicker version. Yeah, we're so used to the thicker version.
Like he weighs like 110 pounds.
He weighs 145. He told us. He's at 145 right now. He's only like 5'6". He's my height. He's at 146 right now, and he wants to get up to 165. He wants to bulk from this. But this is like his low point. I think it's a good move. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he looks good. I think if you saw the Instagram story from the wife with the 6-pack, you'd say that he looked a lot better. Okay. His wife got him in good lighting outside. He looks nice. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what he looks like after the bulk, though. I do agree. He's a little too skinny.
That's fair. I mean, I'm excited because I know he works out and he doesn't seem the type
he's serious
to have
about
like an
it.
Eating disorder or something.
No.
But it's just
he's such a happy man. I just strive to one day be as happy as Daniel Negreanu. Like he's the happiest man in the world. He just does what he loves and is a crazy wild man. It's amazing.
So we did get another guest for this week, and please welcome my fellow Corona-loving, Vegas-obsessed, nitty friend, George. We've become pretty close over the last few months, and he's had my number, and his favorite hobbies include sleeping at the table and snap calling me when I shove into him with the nuts. Welcome to the podcast, George.
Wow.
How you doing today, buddy?
You're mute.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
That's crazy.
Not too much. Happy to have you here today, man.
Hey, it's great to be here. It's a beautiful day. I feel great today. I'm ready to play some poker.
Dude.
Let's go. Yeah,
that's how you get into the right headspace, We go over poker hands.
Hell yeah. George is actually going down to Tampa to take some people's people's money. What's up, Johnny Talks? How's it going, man? So George, we'll just jump right into the interview. So the first basic question we just ask people is, how did you get started into poker?
Man, I got started into cards just when I was like 12 years old. I saw my family get together, and every time they get together, all my uncles would always play, and they slowly started introducing poker. And what I would do would be like, go up to my mom and be like, yo, can I get $5? What's up? So I can jump in the game and then quickly lose my $5, but at least it's a learning experience. You need to lose first to learn and then to move forward from there on. Exactly.
That's a really good one.
What age was that at roughly?
Yeah, I was around 12 years old. Around like about 15, I started getting into poker. Around like 17, I started studying the game.
Bryce,
because
by the way,
I got tired of losing so much money.
Did you say I'm really quiet?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. A little better. Get close to the mic. But okay, awesome. So we know you absorb a lot of poker content. What kind of stuff are you watching? And about how many hours do you put into studying a week?
Man, to be honest, when I prepare for a big event, when I prepare to go to Vegas, when I prepare to go anywhere, I study what I'm going to play. I'm studying like if I'm going to sit down in a 9-max or a 6-max, study different types of strategy, different people, different positions, what I'm going to do against this person, what am I going to do against that. It's just like, it's picking your spots, picking the right time to make the move, You don't have to have the best hand. You just gotta make the right move at the right time.
Are you implying that you bluff sometimes?
I do bluff, and it does get through.
Aces are better.
But it gets through in the right moments. I just don't show my bluffs. That's it. Because then you're gonna be like, oh, he never had it, you know. But I'll show you the nuts though, any time of the day.
George, I'm curious. Do you do any other kind of gambling on the side, or is just poker your main thing? Are you a table games guy? Do you got lucky numbers? Like, are you that crazy into it or no?
No, like once I've been in like poker for about 5-6 hours, you know, like I try to go take a break, go and play some blackjack, you know, get my mind up, even if I'm up or if I'm down.
Yeah, he'll play it for just like small amounts though, just to kind of like give his mind a reset. He's not playing with like the same amounts that he plays poker, so it's almost like a therapeutic gambling, you know.
Just slow down the pace a little bit.
Let's calm the mind down.
Exactly.
No more pressure. You know, it's just you know, just guessing.
No, you go downstairs for a quick drink, you know.
Get a Rona.
Get a Rona for sure.
So is the main casino that you play
at? Yeah,
you
go downstairs, you get a quick drink, put 25 on blackjack and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my main casino is in the MGM National Harbor, you know, that's where all the cash is at. That's where the money goes, you know, like that easy pickups.
Easy.
I'm excited to visit. I'm really excited to visit one day. I mean, I just hear nice things because it's a very new casino. And I mean, how nice is the poker room in the National Harbor? Like, is it just schwangin'? Is it just a nice room?
I mean, it's nice. The tables are nice. People are nice. I mean, I would give it like a 7, 8, you know?
Yeah.
But
because I mean, you also have to judge that 10, against Vegas. You know?
I mean, it's way nicer than like a Hollywood casino in West Virginia.
Right. Yeah. Or MGM Springfield. Which is not a bad casino.
But so are you mainly a tournament or cash player? I know you talk about playing cash at the MGM, but I know you've been just crushing this year on ACR. So what do you consider your specialty to be?
To be honest, I think tournament. I played tournament a lot more than cash. You know, when I go to the MGM, yeah, it's always cash game. But, you know, sometimes you just can't get away from these juicy tournaments, you know, low buy-ins, juicy tournaments where you can just make a lot of money from. So that's where I keep my focus on.
I think the edges in tournaments are actually better because I think a lot of rec players just want to hop in tournaments, like, or they'll see the huge guarantee. Like, people do some donk things. I mean, we've seen just in the club we play in, people will get in 1,000 big blinds with ace queen off in the first level.
And you know what's funny, Bryce, is like I started watching old Doug Polk. I mean, this is crazy, but I started watching Doug Polk's old like bankroll challenge from when he was grinding small stakes, and I absolutely agree. I mean, like those ACR little mini tournament, like they do like $1 sit and goes and like some small guarantees and stuff. But like
for the record, George isn't playing the $1 tournament.
Yeah, he's not playing the $1. That's fair.
George is high.
Yeah.
No, here and then, you know, once in a while, you know, you grow a pair of balls and you're like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's see if we can get lucky, you know?
And it turns up to be a really good run, you know, and next thing you know, you just having beer while playing poker.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Living the life.
I have two-part question. Who do you think is the best poker no limit hold'em player in the world right now? And who is your favorite player to watch? Because I know you watch a lot of the OG, the Tony G's, the Phil Hellmuth. Like, who is your favorite to watch, and who do you think is the best?
Who would I like to watch? Entertainment wise, you just said him, Tony G. Tony G is a funny guy. Entertainment wise, you gotta have heart. You gotta have heart. He tells this new guy when he came into the cash game, he's like, all right, you come in here and you're coming here to play every hand. You're not folding a single hand. You got to have heart. You got to believe.
He's been such a jerk to Andrew Roble like that one hand. You come into he wasn't even in the hand.
Oh, yeah.
He brought him against Roble and he was just popping up. You come to my game. You take 10 minutes for every decision.
Yeah. At the big game on TV. That was so nuts.
Have you seen the one where they do like nation versus nation? And the guy, like, I think it was like the Germans had a big decision to make because Tony G moved all in.
Wait, I think you're talking about the
aces versus kings,
and aces called.
Where they took a timeout. It was still BM.
They lost.
And then they lost.
No.
Yeah.
This was another one, but the dude had ace high, and he's like, "You gotta call me with that shit. Come on, I'm going all in because I hit the board. Obviously, he hit. It was just a flop, and then Tony pushed all in, and the guy like used 3-4 time banks, and then like he said, "All right, call." And then he's like, "Oh, you call yourself a professional? Are you serious? Ace king, like really?" He's like, "Get out of here."
Love the needle. But I mean, he's a successful businessman. Like I looked up, like,
yeah, he's awesome.
Like it's crazy. Like he's got a ton of money.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's
Yeah,
having a good time.
Like, if I wanna watch poker to have a good time, to laugh, to have some comedy in my life, Tony G's the guy. Tony G will do this shit real quick.
That's very fair. Very fair. So I'd love to hear your favorite Vegas story. I know you've been to Vegas a few times, and maybe not the most X-rated of them all, but I'm sure you've got some good ones.
I mean, I had some good stories and everything, but I mean, like, they're not like gambling stories. It's more like, I party, I go and play this big tournament.
Yeah.
And then I like step out on every single break and just go party a little bit more. And then I come back to the table and I'm like shit faced, betting like 100,000, 25,000, like just whatever. Not even looking at my cards on this tournament on WSOP. But
That's
you know
awesome.
what? It's all about having a great time at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, I mean, how big was the buy-in for the tournament?
It was $500. No. $1,500 actually.
Ryan grimaces like you're drunk.
$1,500
tournaments.
I mean, $1,500. But here you gotta understand, like I sat down in the cash game for like a good hour and I made triple that, because Vegas action is crazy, baby. Everybody goes all in.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't take that into account. I'm like, if you made it all back on the side, it doesn't matter. Then it's just for fun, and you can get drunk and play at the 1,500. If you're gonna win it back in cash,
exactly.
That's
I go
funny.
in there.
You're free rolling the tournament.
Yeah, you're free rolling. You're having a good time.
I was fooling around, having fun. Oh my god, it was a blast, man.
That's awesome.
I had never had so much fun playing poker than that one night.
That's awesome. Well, one day we will be going together, and I'm excited to see Drunk George because I've only seen George pound about one Corona. So.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So we were at a home game about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and we're gonna review that hand with George because it's definitely an interesting one against our other good buddy Chad. So let me pull that hand up real quick for us. And we were playing 1-2. Alrighty. If I lose today.
Is it the one that you woke me up in?
Is it the one I woke you up in? What do you mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It was between me and you because I was falling asleep like half of the night.
How did you not put
end.
names here? Who's who?
This is just at the MGM. The
this
two-hand
is a Chad
reviews that I
hand.
put in.
Oh, okay. This is fine.
Nah,
I haven't
this
seen
isn't.
this hand then. This will be a good time.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
I put some stuff where I had some interesting decisions to make.
What the heck?
Oh
my
my
gosh. So just raise
sweet
to 18.
baby.
No, this honestly isn't crazy. Like 12 to 15 is totally the standard raise. People raise to 20 sometimes. It's nuts, Ryan.
Wait, what is this? Is this 1-3?
This is 1-3. So yeah, he just casually 6x it from MP.
What a game.
9-10 flats standard. I'm interested to see what George does. All right, just flats. I mean, makes sense because he went pretty big. I mean, when the other guy flats on the button, if you raise, you can pretty confidently get him off. But I mean, obviously, you could just be against jacks, queens, kings, dominated.
Right, you
So
could just be running right into it.
I mean, I'd definitely be looking to raise like my ace 5 suiteds here way more than my ace 10s.
I absolutely agree. I was about to say that. I think yeah, the merit of your hand here definitely is in flatting because the thing is with the price that's been laid here, like if the big blind calls behind, it's still a lot. Like the big blind, they fold here, which is kind of sad. They're getting great odds, but yeah, I think I agree with everything Bryce said. You could be running into the absolute.
We have
nuts.
no idea how much this dude has.
Do you have any notes to say on who holds the queens here?
Nah. I mean, look, I just got down at the table. We just opened up. This was like around 9 a.m. at the MGM. 9 a.m.
Wow,
everybody's still trying to get in. Yeah, right at the start. It was like the third hand in.
This guy's opening to 18, the third hand in.
Oh no, you have people.
They
doing that
have
every
no
day,
chill. That's usually like 3 Ronas deep. But wow.
All right, so I mean, the flat's totally fine.
Yeah, flat's fine.
I'm not
Again, at the end of the
all
day,
necessarily
that's
with you.
what we're getting to is that the flat's fine.
Yeah. Let's see a flop. Flop. Wow. Oh, but okay. I
Ooh.
mean, you just like you're screwed.
You're donezo, buddy.
How much did he bet? That all happened so quickly.
You bet out.
Yeah, you couldn't pause that?
I did pause it. It's just
So
like
I went
lagged.
25.
Okay. And he raised to 75, and the
So
other
I went
dude
25. He raised to 75.
And then there's a 3
Okay.
bet.
And the other dude, Min raised him to 150.
So let's talk about 25. I'd look to check here, first of all.
I agree.
Because I expect C2 to bet a large percentage of the time.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I definitely don't like it. The raise to 75, I just don't like at all. I mean, what do you?
It's a wild play with queen.
If he has Jack Queen, you block that. If he has 8 Jack, okay, maybe you get value from that. Ace 9, okay, maybe. But like the majority of the time, I feel like you're beat here, especially with 3 people in hand. And it almost seems like a feeler bet. Like if he were to raise and then fold, that's fine. He prices himself in when the other dude min raises and you call.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't hate him to call there with 2 outs. You know what I mean? But he absolutely should not be raising here, like any of the time.
Well, yeah, but I also think the problem is that you should not be betting here.
I agree.
Because I think you're going to get value out of the queens here.
A check raise is fine, but also on a rainbow board, I just check call.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're check calling because a lot of your value is going to come from the turn. The problem with this lead is that like, what are your opponents going to put you on other than ace 10 here?
I mean, what the hell did C2 put him on to raise to 75?
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This guy. Okay, I'm not going to take that much credence from a guy who opened 6x. You know, he's out here. He's doing things. He has queens and he's so happy about it, but he doesn't realize that he's in a lot of trouble.
What do we think of 9-10's min raise with the nuts? Well, second nuts. No, nuts. He's got a ton of
He's got
nuts. What do we think of?
I mean, I don't like it. Because the problem is that, like, that's what I'm saying is like when George leads from the small blind and you think he has a 10, like you're beating he can't unless he has 10-9, which is astronomical that he would have that. You're in really good shape here. So I think you can flat the raise because you know you're winning. And I mean, you don't need to push your equity here. You flopped a boat and it went bet raise in front of you. I think you can flat here and see if someone else decides to spew. I think a flat's fine too,
but I mean, at the same time, I mean, he got value from both of them.
He did,
so
right.
What do we know?
What do we know? We're just 2 guys with a poker podcast.
All right, so now the SPR just, oh my God. Do you see this turn? Okay. So I hope you check here.
No.
100%.
He's gonna.
Nope. 100%, bro.
Check. He bets 200. I like the bet from him now. Obviously, I mean, any 10 probably is gonna call. Lucky for him. I mean,
lucky for you that he's gonna probably rip that in there.
I think you get away here, and I'm assuming you do,
absolutely,
knowing the player you are, because that also brings in the straight. And I mean, C2 100% could have queens here.
Yep.
And C5 min rate, like there's just been so much action that I think you can get away from ace 10 pretty easily here. And I honestly have confidence that you did. So let's see what C5 does. I'm assuming C5 rips. Yeah, you fold.
You fold, yeah. Nice fold. Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I have to fold. I mean, the first on the flop, it was just more like a feeler bet. I got re-raised obviously and everything, but I was like, you know what? But if I bink the ace on the turn, we're good.
Feeler bet why though?
And
like you're
just
pretty confident. Don't you
like,
agree C2 is going to be betting here like 70+% of the time?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like the beginning of the session, so I really don't know if these guys are just gonna check and and I'm gonna miss out. Just that's depending fair. Like even if they didn't have anything, I'm starting my value bet from the beginning or a feeler bet from the beginning.
So what do you
see what's going on?
If he feeler bets and he has say ace jack, do you think he's folding? Because obviously his jack queens are continuing, all his 10s are continuing. If he somehow has a 9, he's continuing, and ace king continues for a cheap price. And I feel like ace king would honestly give you a a bigger price in which you get more value. And if you get raised here, do you want to get raised with ace 10? I mean, three-handed ace 10 is pretty damn amazing. I'm assuming you think you're ahead at this point. So is that a value bet or is it a feeler bet? I mean, it sounds like it was a feeler bet, but I still think a check is the move. I mean,
it was more like a feeler bet, just
fold on the turn.
Right, and it's also easy to say this in hindsight. And,
yeah, 100%.
Your insight from the game makes a lot of sense as to why you bet here. And there's no, like, at the end of the day, like, obviously there's no problem with betting here, and eventually you get away from this because the hand is just absolutely insane. But, yeah, I think in the future, I mean, I agree with Bryce. I lean towards check and let them bet the hand for you.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I hope the rest of that session went well. But I know you're definitely capable of making big folds. You considered folding top two to a donk, me. So you were right in calling with your set. Or not set. Wait. Yeah, I was repping a set. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about the hand. But anyways, George, very much appreciate you coming on today. Can't wait to mix it up with you soon. Hopefully Friday we're grabbing drinks, but we'll see about that.
Awesome, man.
But thanks again for coming on, and I look forward to crushing you in 30 minutes.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'll see you around.
See you, George.
See what happens.
Thanks, man.
All right.
What a guy.
So our next hand, are we doing yours or mine? I think we're doing mine, right?
Yeah, we're doing a heads-up hand first.
So I have been playing a friend of mine named Sam. Heads up, we've been playing 2-4. It's been a really good time. Sam's a great guy, and he makes you think. We put each other in a lot of difficult positions, and the meta has been nuts. I mean, obviously, when you're playing thousands of hands with one singular person, it's going to be crazy. George got on my case the other night. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" But it is hard to explain all the stuff that is going on in this game. So, let's just get into it. Trust everyone, but always cut the cards.
Facts.
Well said. All right, so we're pretty deep in this game. The max is 1K, but like we just insta rebuy,
right.
Insta top.
So
up.
eventually it just gets to this point.
So he's got a 2K stack, and I've got about 1900. And freaking share my pair does not do heads up well. So basically, I hate bombs is on the button. So when it says I flat, I'm not flatting. So he raises to 14 on the button, and I make it 56 with ace king. I'd been raising from anywhere from 56 to 60, depending on. I was making some adjustments. I think 56 is totally fine.
It was open to 12, raised to.
It was 56? Open to 14, raised to 56.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean it's not crazy at all when you look at the amount of big blinds.
Especially how deep. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the key. Is when you look at how many big blinds deep you are, it makes a lot more sense. I mean, you're just thinking
what am I gonna do? Not put in a little bigger than 3x?
Oh, with an ace king.
Like what?
As long as you're balancing that range with your other things, I don't mind it.
Absolutely balancing my range.
You could do this with 9-10.
There's a lot of 3-betting. Oh,
yeah.
100%. So he puts in the call.
I do that with 9-10.
I actually play this hand in a way that I rarely play hands, and I think that's what got him to raise on the river. But I'll get there.
Okay. So nice flop.
I flop top pair. Obviously there's a rainbow board, but he could have low aces, he could have any queen, he could have some sort of straight draw, even like king jack, 10 jack. I expect to continue for a bet. Considering how deep we are, I expect him to continue with the gut shot. So I'm gonna look to bet it.
And his raise call 3-bet range is
ace is in my range. So if I don't have an ace, I'm betting this board. So I bet 66, and he just flats me. He just calls.
What do you think? What are we thinking when you just flats here? I think that's weighted more towards draws and queens.
I think it's weighted towards queen 10, queen jack, maybe like ace 7, ace 8.
I honestly don't remember what he had in his hand, so I'm excited. Really because I mean,
on the turn is a 5 of spades, and I think normally I look to bet this and continue the story, but I think checking's pretty deceitful, and I think if he picked up a flush draw, he'll bet. If he even has a hand like queen jack, queen 10, queen king, I honestly think he will bet it. I think he will bet it because he's been betting a ton of second pairs, and this is very player dependent. And
Yes.
normally I look to bet this board, and it might look donkey of me to not bet this board, but I check it over to him. And I'm looking for him. I mean, also, if he has ace 4, ace 5, that's totally reasonable. And if I bet and he raises, and he loved raising with his flush draws, obviously I'm going to be calling here with ace king. But
Right.
I don't necessarily love it. So it's almost somewhat of pot control. I mean, I definitely think I'm ahead here 85% of the time.
Exactly.
But,
yeah. You kind of shifted to check call, which I think is fine considering how aggressive he is. Like,
yeah, so he
like you
bets
said,
126.
it's not like he's going to check a draw. He's not.
And it's a pretty small bet. I expect him to actually size up more with his spade draws.
I agree.
So I'm putting him
because he's not getting value when he gets there. That's the issue.
I think he has a medium ace, like ace 7, ace 8. I think he sizes up more if he has ace 4, ace 5 because if I'm on a draw. So I think I'm ahead here virtually every time.
Right.
So, and he doesn't have ace queen obviously here. So I'm just gonna look to flat here and keep his range wide and reevaluate on river for whether or not I want to bet or let him hang himself. Most likely let him hang himself because
you expect him to bluff if he
I expect him to
too.
bluff a pretty high percentage of the time. So anyways, the river's pretty interesting. Like
is it a spade?
All accounts. It is a spade.
Oh baby. Ooh.
So
okay.
What do you think I do here? Do you think I check and let him rep the flush? Or do you think he thinks that I could have a flush when I just flat him on the turn and it looks like it's just very interesting what he thinks obviously heads up is just a completely different game. So I actually elect to bet here. I bet small. So I am known for betting, especially heads up, on most rivers, like 80 to 90+%.
Yeah,
I go big on rivers.
Yeah,
I go big on rivers.
You go big.
So when I go small, I actually expect him to raise me, and I don't think he has a flush here. Obviously, this is potential suicide, but I also expect, he doesn't have too many of the high flushes. Like, if he had ace jack of spades, ace queen, I don't expect, he has to flat almost with a low flush. Like, if he has 8-9 of spades, I also don't expect him to have a flush here. So if he happens to have ace 4, ace 5, I think I'm also saving myself money because I don't think he can raise with those hands because the flush got in and I have all the ace queens. So 2 pair can't raise here. A set can't raise here. Really, the only thing that can raise here is a flush, and he shouldn't have too many premium flushes. So that's kind of why I go with the raise sizing of 250, just basically half pot. And he decides to raise to 750. So this is kind of a sick spot. He definitely is capable of bluffing, and I've called him down in some places where he's just bluffed with basically nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of hands that he has in his bluffing range, but I think more importantly, he doesn't really have any hands in his value range. Like, what can we credibly put him on? King Jack of spades? King 9 of spades? Like, honestly, those are the 2 hands that I can think of. 8-9 of spades, maybe. Is he going to call flop with 8-9 of spades, though? I don't think so. King Queen of spades, I don't think plays it like this. I think he sizes up more on turn.
Right. Yeah, because he has pair plus, you know?
King 9
at that
of
point,
spades,
he has lots of outs.
Which, are you really going to float me on flop with, just complete backdoor equity? I feel like you don't have the price for that.
Right.
So, I use 2 time banks, I think about it, and I make the call with a singular pair, and he rolls over. King of spades, 10 of diamonds.
Wow.
That one felt good.
That
it's called a $500 bluff there. So, I mean, he had the king of spades in his hand, so he blocks the second nuts, obviously.
Right.
But I don't like it. I mean, obviously, I have to go into hero mode a little bit here, but his line just did not make sense. His sizings did not make sense.
You did a good job sniffing it out from the turn sizing specifically. I think it was great that you identified that. Exactly. He gave it away there.
Because if he did go 75, 80% of pot.
Yeah, and then I think
I play river differently.
Exactly.
I think I check call. I mean, I'm not folding. I'll call a 3/4 pot bet, snap. Even if I'm bad, whatever. I can't fold.
Right.
And I mean, I guess a very small percentage of the time here he could have ace 10, but that doesn't raise. That, you know what I mean? That just doesn't raise.
Not.
So I like my line here. Ryan called me a sicko, but I don't think it's actually as sick as he makes it out to be.
Yeah, I think after you look back at the sizing specifically, because I mean, I was just looking at the river call, like you were calling a raise on that board. And then when you look back, this is the fun part about poker. Then you look back at the action and you see the clues in context, and then you can make a different decision. You came to the best conclusion based on all the information you had. You were right. That was a good call.
I'm wrong there sometimes, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I feel like in my hero mode, I've been right most of the time. I mean, you saw me.
Yeah, you also
put him
were
on a
like
flush draw and be wrong.
You also were, with the raise there to 500, you were calling 500 to win 2K. So what you were getting 4-1 on a call. You literally only needed to be right 20% of the time to be profitable.
Yeah.
So
and
you were definitely right.
I was
You're
probably
right,
70. I was probably 70% confident, to be frankly honest.
Right.
With you.
That's what I'm saying. That's great.
So I mean, you have to just go with your read. So anyways, why does it say $0 in front of us? Maybe it just hasn't loaded yet.
Yeah, that'd be.
But so this is a 1-2 hand actually from last night. And Ryan was playing pretty tired, so definitely don't suggest doing that.
No, bad idea.
Anyways, all right, good. The stacks.
Okay, the stacks came in. So, yeah, let me explain how the wheels came off the bus here. So I have King 10 of diamonds. I am in the hijack. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to 8 here. I don't think that's unreasonable open. We're 6-handed. I love 6 max. 6 max, I think, is honestly where I excel the most. So, King 10 of diamonds is just a great hand for me. I honestly kind of like King 10. People hate on King 10. But I think it's a fair open from the hijack. No problems with it.
Oh, especially against a perceived weak table.
Correct. Except for you, which is going to get interesting. But you flat from the button, which is a very important thing.
I agree.
That is going to come up later on.
Because I like to raise my buttons. I'm less inclined to raise you because I know typically you're not raising too wide. It's interesting because we were on call at the time and you told me I'm going to freaking open ace deuce off like under the gun, like big. So, I mean, that's not a ridiculous open.
No. But it's kind of in the range of marginal hands that you think I'm going to play, Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, I believe Zach flats as well.
Right. Yeah, we get 2 more callers out of the blind.
Four-handed.
4-way to the flop was not exactly how I wanted it to go. But
you don't like this flop? What do you mean? Okay. Oh, you mean 4-way.
Gorgeous flop for me. Top, almost top, and with a second nut flush draw. Kind of the ideal flop.
For sure.
I think that I am range-wise, I really kind of only hit the 10 here because most of my range here is consisted of suited broadways and some pocket pairs. Maybe I hit a set of 9s or 10s once in a while there, but, most of the time I'm going to show up with things like King 10. So the action is very interesting here. Well, I guess kind of interesting. Toaster checks him from the small blind, and Zach bets off of his $82 stack for $5. That will not stand. $5 into 32 is no good. And I make a mistake here with my raise sizing. So I end up, I think, actually, well, that's fair because technically speaking, his $5 is kind of like a check. And I guess if I go huge here, it's a little bit unreasonable. But I mean, I do go to 26, and I guess I'm kind of nitpicky here. I think I could have gone to like 30 or something.
Oh, you're saying you should have gone bigger.
I'm saying I should have gone bigger.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think 26 is fine. I mean, so look, if we say he checks, you're betting essentially the pot on the flop. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was without his bet.
I think 26 is honestly a perfect sizing.
Okay.
And I normally roast the hell out of your sizings, but 4-way, like
I need to thin the field. I do not want him to call. And if he wants to shove here, I'm fine. I'm going to take my King 10 and run with my equity.
Oh, I mean, 100%. Like
right for $100, I'll flip. Let's go.
You have top pair. If he has a set, like literally any hand you have, like you're
I have lots of outs.
Yeah. So what I flat? What the hell? What do you make of my flat?
Oh man, that was the problem. Was like immediately when you flatted, the funny part was like because when you flat from the button pre-flop, it caps. To me, it caps your range.
I have
which I don't think is
unfair.
unfair.
I have pocket 3s.
That's what I'm saying. Is
9-3 suited.
Right.
I honestly, I don't have 9-3 suited.
Yeah, right. I'm saying you might raise 3s here. I think you do have all the 9-10. I think, but the problem was what really gets weird about this hand is that for some reason I couldn't get off the fact that I thought you were on like a Jack 10 or a Queen 10, that was flatting from the button, which I mean is part of your range, but I was fixating on one combination of hands.
I like that combo though. I like. It's so interesting
because I think that
Jack
combo
Queen
flat.
like suited. I think I 3-bet you. Jack Queen off. Yeah, I'm honestly probably flatting on the button against you specifically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I have
know.
all the straight draws. I have maybe Ace-9 that just wants to see another card. You know what I mean? Ace-9.
I agree.
Jack-9, 8-9.
I mean, you could have Ace-10 here with, obviously I block diamonds, so you can't have the 10 of diamonds. So
yeah, I mean, I think I continue with a 9, a straight draw plus. You know what I mean? I'm not flatting here to steal it from you on the turn. Obviously, I have some sort of equity in the hand, or I'm not going to try to steal from you when you raise to 26.
Right.
And honestly, like me flatting is me saying Zach's gonna fold. Zach likes to bet $2 into 100, and if he goes with this, obviously I'm probably gonna fold.
Right.
But my read on him is him betting into 5 is just so weak, and him trying to steal for cheap.
Right.
And it rarely works. It doesn't work, and
it would be ridiculous to call. I mean, it would just.
He bet 5 from the big blind and folded. He bet 20% of the pot in 4-way and folded. Like. We'll just move on.
We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen.
So the turn's a pretty damn good card for you.
Brick City.
Brick City.
I go pretty big, right? I go like 60. No, I go 50. I go too small here, I think.
You go too
50.
Small here.
I go too small here.
So
yeah.
When I flat your big raise, right. I don't like your sizing here.
Yep.
I mean, it's just way too small. Right. I could get on board for honestly a $75 bet here.
100%.
I'd probably look to go about
5 is the right size.
I'd probably go 69 against you just because you know how I like to go one less than the number. total sizing tell. But I'd probably go like 68 to 75 range here.
Right.
I mean, obviously that's a pretty specific amount. You just need to go bigger. Like, what am I? You want to price the hell out of me? Even let's say I have a hand like 10 Jack. Do you think I'm folding for $70?
No, because that's what I'm saying. Is if you called flop with a hand like Jack 10 or Queen 10, you're calling turn when it comes a brick like this.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying.
I think the best way of thinking.
I think I can go bigger.
Yeah, what calls your flop raise?
Exactly.
Turns to a brick for a small price.
Right.
I mean, if you potted it, maybe I mean
maybe you get away right. That's unreasonable, but we could go significantly bigger here.
I flat.
Right.
So I mean, obviously my range. You check to me, and I just jam.
Why the river didn't come up? So the river is the 6 of hearts. I have no idea why it didn't appear. I
don't want to show it because I don't want to show the result. But it was a 6 of hearts.
Correct.
So this is a perceived brick. You said that you were playing pretty tired, so you didn't realize that 7-8 had come in. But again,
so let me explain. So I kind of looked at the board, and because the cards were out of order and Ryan was a little tired, I didn't see that 7-8 made a straight. So I think one of the things I was going through because we were on call was I was like, all right, let me think about this, because I checked and you tanked for a while and then you shoved, and because I was fixating on Queen 10, Jack 10, I was trying to think about like what you jammed here for value. And I think the problem was, given the fact that I only had 60 seconds and I couldn't, I on first glance, when I said, all right, let me look through your straight draws. And I was like, Queen Jack didn't get there. I didn't say 7-8.
You did not mention the hand, and I was like,
I didn't mention the hand.
I literally was like, he's gonna.
And you were, I can literally imagine
silent.
you sitting there, and you were like, oh no, he's gonna call.
No, I literally, you're my friend, and I was like, if he I wanted you to at least see it. If you're like, he probably doesn't have here. He polarizes a ton of like. I just as like your poker friend, I wanted you to completely think through it.
100%. Let's compound also the reasons why this is a bad call. I think in addition to that, obviously, is the fact that I block all of the diamonds that he could possibly be bluffing with here. If he had a hand,
I think that's a huge point. I think that's a huge point. You block all my combos of pairs plus
all of it. I block your top pair plus, and like you can't have a hand like Ace 9 of diamonds here because it's the 9 of diamonds. Like, unless you magically have like Ace 4 of diamonds and all of a sudden, I don't know, or like Ace 6. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, there's
you showed strength this entire way. And
right.
It's not like a diamond came up and I tried to rep diamonds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it was a brick. You showed strength on flop, huge strength. You raised huge. You bet on turn, but
yeah,
still.
Should have been bigger. But
and then river, it almost seems like you're either trapping, thinking you're way ahead.
Oh
yeah. Have like a set or something, like I actually thought you were potentially stronger than this.
Right. I think that was
I
one of
thought
the
you
things
could
where
have an overpair. I thought you
Yes.
could have 9-10 suited. I
Yes.
mean, you could have a set. Like I thought you were pretty strong. When you said you had King 10, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
All
When
right.
because I did, for a moment when it was on me, consider shoving River. That was the
I
thing.
actually
I was
thought
like,
you were going to be
right.
honest. I
Because
thought you were
I
gonna
did. I
change.
considered it for a second because I was like, the point of the turn bet was to set up a river jam that was going to be like a, big river jam.
I
Like
think I think it would have been a horrible jam, and I'll
it would have
explain
been the
why.
worst jam.
So if I
It would have
have
been just the worst jam with King
if I
10 of
have like
diamonds.
Ace 9 or something, I'm not calling. And if you
You're
bet
not
half
calling.
pot, if you bet half pot, I consider calling. If I
Yeah,
have a
you
hand like
probably
Queen
laid out.
10, Jack 10, I'm getting away from it. Like I'm just getting away from it from you. Against some people, like if they're very bluff happy, but like I fold, you get no value. So I think
So
going into check call or check fold mode
right,
is 100% the move. And I think it's okay. If I
right.
were
So
to bet
that's what I'm
half
saying.
pot
It's just
here,
about the math.
if I were to bet half pot here, I can totally
Get
see the
behind a
call.
call.
Totally. I snap.
Man, because that was the
But
problem. Is because I block diamonds. That's the real chief problem here. Because if we do the math, like if we just look at the math of what we're supposed to do here, I'm getting 1 to 3 odds, so I need to be right 25% of the time. And the problem is because I block Queen 10, I block this big portion of your range. That's all of your missed diamond draws that you might blast off with here because you want to bluff me off of my 10. Because you've probably ranged me pretty correctly.
I honestly think I'm only bluffing here like 10 to 20% of the time.
Right,
On this
and that's
specific
the
board.
problem. Is like
Like
because
I'm very bluff happy, but what
right,
hands do I have? Like you
right,
said,
exactly.
like Ace 4, Ace 5 of diamonds.
Yeah,
But
you just don't.
wouldn't I 3-bet that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like go back to pre-flop. Like unless I just had Ace of diamonds, like 9 of clubs or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It just doesn't
block.
make any
I think I don't think there's enough bluff hands that make sense for you to put in this call. And I win the pot with 7-8 offsuit. I don't know why the river didn't even come up. What is up with that?
That's weird. I don't know. But I mean, it makes sense in hindsight. Definitely lesson learned, and try not to do that again.
So I mean,
Yeah.
7-8 offsuits a little loose of a defend on the button, but I mean,
Not the end of the world.
I was pretty deep. I'm a donk.
Yeah, I'm not upset about it. It was good.
Yeah,
Good
I
play.
mean, Ryan kicked my butt about a week ago. We played 50 cent to $1 heads up, and he took me for about $500 in 2 hours. And I think he played a little better than me. I ran horribly. I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
I ran
I think he did play well, but he literally had it every single time.
Yeah,
like he had it every single.
I was
time.
just rivering gutters and like just getting there with garbage. It was like wonderful.
Like
2
top
hours.
set over top 2. Like
it was just beautiful.
And then we got we flipped for like $300 pot or something. It was like ace king versus queens or something, and I don't even remember who had what, but standard flip. And no, it wasn't standard. You had 10s and I had ace king. You got in 10s for like $200.
I did get $200.
I mean, you were right. Didn't spike ace or king.
But the problem is that you can have any jacks plus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not gonna roast you.
Tom Vaughn would tell me that's standard, so you can fight me.
You're so bad at poker.
You're so bad.
I will not see you in a few years. I won't see you in a few years.
Standard. Would have said good game. Sorry for the suck out, but I won't. Right. Best hand of all time. Don't add me.
That was so amazing. Classic Phil Hellman.
National Heads Up tournament a number of years ago. Greatest.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sad that they took that away. NBC Heads Up Championship was pretty great, and they had a lot of actors, and like it was good play. Like I very much, there was some good play. Like people died out. Like Huck Seed, like always made it deep in that tournament. Like there's Don Cheadle played a lot. Like I mean, he disappeared for years based on that's another story. And he literally took like 8 years to apologize to the community. But anyways, that's a topic for another day. Very much appreciate you all tuning into the podcast today. Special shout out to George. Can't wait to play more poker and drink more beers with you. Thank you, Ryan. Another great podcast. Thank you for your money. It's going to feed my family.
I'm coming for it.
Yeah, I look forward to playing with you in a few minutes here. But thanks again for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week.